Hi, and welcome to Dare to Be Authentic podcast. I'm your host, Mari Mitchell, and I have a very special guest today. Her name is Jaimee Salvato, and she's author of Manifest Your Worth. She's a stay-at-home mom currently promoting her book and looking for more ways to integrate what she's learned into a fulfilling career. So, Jaimee, the first question I wanted to ask you is, what inspired you to write your book, Manifest Your Worth?
Hi, Mari. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me. I was initially inspired to write Manifest Your Worth because I felt the need to prove myself, or to prove to myself that I was enough, and that I was worthy. But through the process of writing it, I realized something even more important, which is that I don't need to prove my worth to anyone, not even to myself, and I am already worthy just as I am.
That's such a wonderful thing. And I know that writing can be very cathartic. And when you begin to write about something, some subject, things happen to you. So,
Mhm.
what began happening to you as you were writing?
That's a great question because I noticed that I underwent a real huge transformation, um, just with growth and spirituality and just learning about myself and kind of coming back to who I am. Like I really think that, we're all born worthy and that we just forget who we are in the process of um, societal programming.
Hmm. That is so true. I found that true in my life and even in the roles that we decide to take on for ourselves. I mean, you could be a mother, a wife, a Sunday school teacher, or whatever kind of worker, and you lose your real identity, your real self. So when you began to
Mhm.
get back to you, what did you find, first of all? And number two, how did that feel?
Well, it's been a long journey. I'm starting to like regain, in a sense, a lot of the confidence that I remember having as a younger person.
Hmm.
That, like you say, I think I kind of lost a lot of that in sort of losing myself as a mother. And a lot of that probably has to do with not having a fulfilling career when I started my journey as a mom. And I think that oftentimes can have you losing yourself and forgetting, um, just how important you are to not only the people in your life, but to yourself
Yeah.
and just having a joyful life.
Yeah. I agree with you. You know, there's something about society that, I don't know, the story seems to be that once you become a mother, it's like you don't even have a self. You give everything to your children. That's what's most important. Not that they're not, I've raised children as well, but that there's just nothing left for you. And nothing could be more wrong than that.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know. I forget what I was going to
No,
say,
that's
but
perfectly
it's
fine. Yeah, go ahead. I took you in a different direction. So as you begin to find yourself and get back to the real you, get back to that confidence that you had when you were younger, how did that feel?
right.
Yeah.
Um, it was a process. It didn't happen overnight. This is something that takes a lot of time, to to undergo a transformation in yourself and in your growth as an adult. It it's something you have to kind of remind yourself every day and go through. It's you go through a big process. I think it takes a lot of courage to go through it and to try to grow and process through healing, but it can be done. And I think that everybody is worthy of it, so to speak.
Absolutely. I love that you say that. So, talk a little bit about what role authenticity played in this for you, or still plays in your life.
Well, authenticity is at the core of all of this for me. When we're not being true to ourselves, we're often performing for approval or hiding out of fear. And that only reinforces the belief that who we really are isn't enough. But the more I've allowed myself to show up honestly, messy, unsure, um,
Hmm.
imperfect, the more I've experienced real connection and real confidence and real growth. And authenticity is how we reclaim our worth.
I love that. You know, I remember the days when I was performing. It's exhausting. It's exhausting because you don't lean on your intuition, on who you really are. Could you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, I think that we often forget, in the process of trying to maybe mold ourselves to society, we forget um, who we are in the process. And I've learned that our worth isn't something we earn; it's something we remember. So
Mm,
much of our pain comes from forgetting that we're already enough just as we are. So it's that healing and confidence and self trust that don't come from fixing yourself, they come from coming home to yourself.
yeah, I love that. You know, when you watch a child, like I just went to visit my granddaughter, and she's like, the youngest is 18 months. And at that age, she's so sure of herself. She's so sure of what she wants. You know, she knows what she wants and she goes for it, right? And that's how we all were. I love that you say remembering, because society and whoever, our parents, our teachers, our coaches, kind of like force us to unlearn that. And
Hmm.
but I love that, remembering. I love that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think that, this idea of fixing yourself implies that you're broken or wrong, or you need to become someone else that
Yes.
fits a mold that society has created. And I don't believe we're here to morph into something that we're not. We were born beautiful and whole, um, and perfect. And when I say perfect, I mean not in the sense that we don't have flaws or make mistakes, but more in the sense that our flaws and our struggles and even missteps are part of what makes us uniquely human. And that's where our beauty lives, in the truth of who we already are.
I love that. That's where our beauty lives. What a beautiful phrase. Wow. That is really inspiring, Jamie.
Thank you.
Love that you said that. So, share with us a couple of things that you learned on your journey, because you learned a lot, I'm sure, that you want to impart to others. A couple of the most important things.
Well, the main message that I want to share is this: you are already worthy, and you don't have to prove it, earn it, or become someone else to deserve love, peace, and belonging. The journey isn't about fixing yourself, as I said, it's about remembering who you are and letting go of everything that told you otherwise.
That's really good. That's
And the things that I've learned, to answer your question, that was your question, right? Or
yes.
was it
A
something
couple
else?
of the things that you learned. Yeah.
Um, it's I guess if I try and go back to things that I learned in the process. Um, I don't know. Again, I think it's like it is a daily, I don't want to say struggle. That's not the word I want to use. It's a daily process. It's coming back to yourself.
Hmm. Hmm. I love that. We abandon ourselves. It's what we do. We don't know that's what we're doing, but we abandon ourselves because we're trying to please others and be who someone said we should be, whoever that someone may be. And so coming back to
Hmm.
ourselves, that's a huge win. That's awesome. Okay, so we talked about your main message. I know that you just love helping others. What do you think makes you so passionate about helping others?
I'm sorry. I'm passionate about helping others because I know how isolating it feels to believe that you're not good enough.
Mm,
It is something that so many of us experience, yet we often think we're the only ones. And I want to emphasize how common and deeply human that feeling is, because when we realize we're not alone in it, that's when healing becomes possible.
yeah, that is so true. And as a mother, now having learned these things, what do you do differently with your children versus what you experienced as a child?
Well, there's so much out there now. There are so many more resources than there were when my parents were parenting me or my caregivers were caring for me. And I don't know that my caregivers were necessarily thinking too much about how they were parenting.
Hmm.
Um, Certainly, it's possible that they were, but I would say that the number one thing that I do differently is I try to educate myself on, how things really affect children psychologically, and how that happens at such an early age. I mean, there's actually plenty that I have learned recently that I wish I knew when my children were really young, and they're teenagers now.
Hmm.
Um, so I'm sure we all wish we could go back and do it over with the knowledge that we have now.
Right.
But really, what I try and do is just be as present as I can possibly be. And that's really what I'm focusing on lately, is trying to experience joy in every moment with them, and hold space for the times when they're not joyful, and
Hmm.
they're going through something that's difficult. And um, and that's something that I think a lot of parents today are learning how to do. It's not something that our parents knew how to do with us.
Right, right. I love that because being present with them is the biggest gift you can give to a child. They just want, even if they are teenagers, they want your attention. They want to know that they matter, back to that worthiness.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
not that your parents didn't make you feel you mattered, but the more you can be present with, it doesn't have to be a child. It could be your husband. It could be your mother, whoever it may be. The more that you can be present with someone, not distracted somewhere else, the more that they feel connected to you and that they matter.
Right, right.
Yeah.
That's the big word, is connection. That's one of the things. Getting back to what I learned, that's one of the things that I really learned throughout this process of writing the book. That it's connection that is what everyone is really truly desiring.
Mm,
And that's that's what makes a person successful. Not really just not like the likes on your feed or anything like that, but more the intimate connections that you have with people.
I agree. That is so important. So in these days, I want to ask you this, in these days of social media and phones, right at your hip all the time and everything that's going on that we didn't really grow up with, um, what steps do you encourage people to take so that they can remember that human connections are so utterly important?
Well, I mean, we've all heard it recently. It's, to put down the phone more often than not, and really focus in on the people that are right there in front of you. Um, that's one big thing. And yeah, I mean, the things that technology has enabled us to do are wonderful. I mean, uh, I'm not gonna trash them, but they certainly have impacted us in quite a way, and psychologically speaking, especially with our younger people, but with older people too. I mean, we forget how much time we're spending with this little device in our hand,
Yeah, we
and
have.
how powerful it can be to.
Yeah, they are powerful. They're little computers. I mean, I grew up in an era where nobody had a personal computer. There were just those big rooms of computers in the big corporations, huge room with very ice cold to keep everything cool. But now we carry it around in our pocket, in our purse. We have it there for everything. And I know for me, it can be really easy to just get caught up in that and forget that there's people around me. So it takes
Mhm.
effort, I think, and it takes not only being aware, but a decision. It's a decision that we need to make. Awesome. So tell us a little bit about your book itself.
Yeah,
Um, as the reader opens it up,
definitely.
what can they expect?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yes.
It
Yes, I've been
froze up.
breaking up a little bit. Tell us a little bit about your book itself, Manifest Your Work. As the reader opens it up, what can they expect?
They can expect me to share personal anecdotes of, my own um, flaws and misgivings and failures, and how that taught me. And then they can expect, a little bit of just practical advice, like remembering to get back to the importance of nature, and get into that more often than we have been. And
Hmm.
it's a reminder that, um, you know, regulating our nervous system is the key to a lot of things, and it's certainly the key to not reacting to things in a way that we wish we wouldn't. So the way we need to do that is just getting back to the same old adage of, you know good good food, good exercise, and getting out in nature. And then another thing that I talk about briefly is certainly the importance of sleep,
Hmm.
and singing and laughing, and these are just basics, right? So
Yeah.
I did a little research and found that those are like just the staples that everyone has access to.
I love that because all that is free. Singing, I want to say dancing too, because I love dancing.
Or yeah, any way that you can
Yeah,
move your body and whatever works for you. Yeah.
I love that. So interesting, going back to a child, little children, they sing all the time. You watch kids, they're singing all the time. It's like they're in a musical, and that's how they're regulating. So I love this regulating your nervous system because recently that's all I've been hearing. So obviously, universe is trying to tell me something. So so I'd like to hear, and so with the listener, a couple of tips of how do you actually go about doing that?
So again, I think everyone's probably tired of hearing these same ways of doing it, but I think most importantly, it's to pause and take a breath. I was going to say meditation and mindfulness, but I know that, these are buzzwords that I'm sure everybody is tired of being told they should do, like put
Yeah.
down the phone and meditate, and people just don't want to hear that.
Mhm.
But really, it doesn't have to be that difficult. It can be a lot more simple if you just take a breath, get outside and walk for a few minutes, and that'll change your perspective and regulate your nervous system, I think, for sure.
Those are great. I love that you say pause and take a breath because you're right. Nobody want to hear meditate because everybody thinks that meditation is blanking your mind and sitting there still for 10 minutes, 20 minutes. And who wants to do that? That doesn't sound like
Hmm.
fun. But
Yeah,
when
it's
you
not very productive, right?
not at all, especially for people who want to be productive like me. But when you say pause, just the word pause calms me
Hmm.
down. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, I don't have to keep going nonstop.
right.
I can pause.
That's
Uh,
right.
yeah. So I'm sure that's something that you learned in this journey. How did
Hmm.
it feel to learn how to pause and not have to be going nonstop, you know?
Pausing, just though, even though it seems like it's counterproductive to your productivity, like I said, um, it actually makes space. It creates space, and it makes room for so much more to come in, and for ideas to flood in, and for you to um, gain a new perspective, and maybe go at a situation with a different approach.
Yeah.
So, just as you said, how it calms you down, I think, yeah, just like a 3-second pause could really change the way that we um, react to things that
Yeah.
happen in our daily lives. Because everyone is, I mean, for the most part, a lot of people are very overwhelmed and burnout by the current fluctuation of life, we can call it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just important to remember that we can utilize these simple techniques that we forgot were there, just like we have many of us forgotten who we are at the core.
Yeah, I love that. One thing that I've learned is, so let's say I'm struggling with something, usually technology wise, I'm trying to do something.
Me
My
too.
computer is
Yes.
not working. I'm doing all the right things, so I think, and I just stop and I go
Mhm.
somewhere else, or to a different task. And it's amazing how then I'll get back to it. Sometimes I pause for a whole day. I'm like, I'm not dealing with that today. Get back to it, and all of a sudden it works. Do you have that experience sometimes?
I absolutely do. And I am another one who has trouble with technology. And I I do sometimes get to the point where I'm so frustrated I want to throw it across the room. And then when something forces me to um, put my attention somewhere else and I come back to it, it's like, oh, that was just, a sign in and sign out kind of a fix.
Yeah, so the pausing there, I don't know what happens, but somehow the energy when you're like in this frustration, the energy is all wrong. And I think that's what keeps us from. You pause and now your energy is completely, it's flowing differently. And then everything's
Yes,
so clear. I just love,
such a good point. Yes, the energy flows differently.
yeah, very good. Okay, so anything else that you wrote about in your book that you'd like to share with the listeners today?
No, I mean, I would just love for everyone to remember that, we're not alone in this, and we all share these human struggles, and it feels so good to know that it's not something that you have to um, feel on your own, that you don't have to feel that way,
Mhm.
that there is help. So if you're listening and you're doubting your worth right now, I just want to remind you you're not alone. and there's nothing wrong with you, and you don't have to be more or do more to be enough. Who you are as you are is worthy of love, belonging, and joy. So don't wait for permission to believe that.
I love that. That is really beautiful. That is so contrary to the message that society gives us, especially if we're all caught up with anything that has commercials in it, because commercials are made to tell us that we're not good enough. And if we buy this, our
We
hair will
will,
be
yeah,
beautiful, our face will be young, all that kind of stuff. Our body will be perfect. And
yeah,
you're saying the absolute opposite of that. And I just love that message. And that's
thank
one
you.
reason I want to do on the show, because we need to step away from the brainwashing that society has for us into who we really are, like you're saying, back to our real self.
Yeah, and I think that the more that we remember that and get back to our authentic self and who we came onto this planet to be, um, and really get thoughtful about why we weren't want certain things, and maybe strip away the things that we don't want, the
Mhm.
more we can manifest, everything that we really do want to have. I really think that's possible for everyone.
I like that. So, how do we strip away the thing? First of all, how do we really decide? Because sometimes we don't know the things that we don't really want. They're there. We've had them sometimes for years and years because we think we need them. What's a good way to scale that down?
Well, and not even just the physical things.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So right. So a feeling. I mean, you could maybe want to get rid of a certain feeling that is presenting itself to you often, or um, so one way we can do that is really just to get quiet and do some sort of a clarity exercise. Maybe journaling could help you narrow that down, or just sitting in silence for a few minutes could help you decide what you want to eliminate and what's not working for you, and then maybe take an actionable approach to ridding it from your life, and that will make room for, again, for more of the things that you want.
Yeah. I love that. Would you be willing to share with us one thing that you eliminated that really worked for you so other wonderful things could come in?
um yeah, let me think of an example. Well, for one thing, I think that um all this time that I have been wanting to manifest a career while I've been a mother and to get back into the workforce, um, I really couldn't find a way to do that. And I think that in writing this book, since I found that it's not, you know, writing a book or having any specific career that's going to make me worthy.
Hmm.
I've sort of created this space for other opportunities to come in, like the one that I'm presented with here today, being on your podcast. So, um, you know, doors can open
Yes.
very easily once you close a door that's not working for you.
That's perfect. I love that. So you stopped looking for a career, trying to make it work
Yeah.
while being a mother, while being a mother as well. I love that. That's really great. And what's interesting about that, at least in my experience, we kind of get stuck kind of in our head, not in our heart with something. And then when you take that time to pause, like you're talking about, you realize it's not in your heart anymore. It was just
Right.
an idea. Yeah.
Right, right. So often that happens, and I think a lot of times too, we might even think in terms of the material items, we might think to ourselves, now, why did I really want that? I don't want that anymore. Like that was just something I thought I needed to prove something to someone.
Yeah. Yeah, that's perfect. Very nice. And how does it feel to be freed from that?
Excellent. But again, this is an ongoing process that
Yes,
we all have to um, remind ourselves to the importance of it and to go about it each day because um, it's not over yet. Once you feel enlightened, it's like then the challenges keep coming, and you have to keep on reminding yourself of why you're here and
yes,
what your goals are.
absolutely. Wow. Is there one more last thing you'd like to say to listener as we're winding down?
No, I just want to remind people that again, we're not alone. The importance of connection is so strong, and that feeling of belonging and joy and love that we all desire. It's something that we all have a right to that, and
Yes.
we can certainly get there. So don't wait for permission, like I said.
Oh, I love that. Don't wait for permission. We had to do that so much as kids, right? Don't have to do that anymore. I love it. Well, Jaimee, it's been lovely having you on the show. Thank you so much for imparting so much wisdom. And
Oh,
those
thank you
listening
for having
in, oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for listening to Dare to Be Authentic podcast. Catch us next time, and bye for now.